Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Hens back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking all 12 of the MSPs. Now, there is a special situation in which I'm going to, add some stipulations to it. But overall, these rankings are pretty set in stone. But the top 5, I would say, yeah, the top 5 are like a big step ahead of the other ones. And if you haven't made any yet and you want to make any, then I would make the top 5 first, and I would fill in where you need positional needs, because the top 5 are all so incredibly close that the rest of them, they're not even relevant. The top 5, if you make any of them, any one of these could be number 1, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Any one of my top 5 could be number 1. It's just depending on what your playstyle is, what you need for your team, and etc., etc. All right, I'm gonna hide my face cam here just so you guys can see the stats of these cards as I go through them. But it is pretty, these rankings I think are pretty objective. Like, everybody would kind of agree, at least with the top 5, I would say. But yeah, I'd say the top 5, there's a big gap between the top 5 and the bottom 7. So coming in at number 12, we have Jesper Wallstad. Now, the reason why I have Wallstad coming in at number 12 is because I just don't think that, even if you are going to build a goalie, I don't think that he's the one for you. It's just his stats don't really add up to like what you want. He doesn't have the best, abilities in each slot. I'd rather have goal butterfly effect maybe, and post to post is kind of useless this year. He also only gives 1 to synergies. I just don't think that he's worth it for you. If you're going to get a goalie, I would recommend getting base Markstrom, because I promise you, over the course of 100 games, they're going to have the same save percentage, right? So it's not going to make too much of a difference who you have. So I just highly don't recommend getting this Jesper Wallstad card. And he comes in at number 12. Coming in at number 11, we have Daniela Pechova. And the reason why she's in at number 11 is just because, obviously, with the new release that they released today, she's just, phased out by the other left-handed defenseman. By no means is she a bad card necessarily. And if you packed her untradeable last week, she's more than usable on your team. It's just, she doesn't make the cut, I guess is what I'm trying to say. She doesn't make the cut for being, that upper echelon of defenseman. She's just a little bit too short and a little bit too light. And I would recommend, going with somebody else over her. But she's certainly not a terrible card. She's certainly usable. Coming in at number 10, it might be a bit of a shock to you guys, but it's actually Brent Clark. Now, the reason why Brent Clark comes in at number 10 for me is because he has 0 defensive abilities. He is very light, which means that he's going to get knocked off the puck, and he only has 90 body checking, which means that he won't be able to hit very effectively. Now, he can get 93 speed and acceleration, which is definitely usable. He's just a little bit too short, or a little bit too light, and at this point in the year, if you're going to need to build a right-handed defenseman, I would certainly go for Shea Weber over him. So I would say, build Shea Weber over him. There's a few other right-handed defensemen. I would even build probably Mackenzie Weegar over him, right? So he's definitely not the one that I would recommend you guys picking up, and that's why he's coming in at number 10. Number 9 is Sarah Filler. Now, the reason why she's coming in at number 9 for me is because she is fast enough and she's got unstoppable force to be, viable for her size. And I do think that she will be more potent in game than Brent Clark with her 97 balance and 97 strength. She is going to play a little bit like Amanda Kessel would play in game, and I've loved Amanda Kessel ever since I got her. She has the best abilities in the game. She can play center if you want her to. She is a great card, and I do think that she is, a card that is better than the other cards on this list. She's just not one that I would personally recommend making myself. But there is a niche for her where if you like these woman cards, like Amanda Kessel, like I do, then there is a niche for her to be, put into your team. And she is a very solid card, and there's nothing really wrong with her card other than her being a little bit too short for the meta. Coming in at number 8, we have Kent Johnson. Now, I am aware that he did get a face-offs boost. And if you toss Distributor and Thief on him, he can get to 92 face-offs, which is quite good. This card is very good, actually. He's quite good. It's just he's a little bit light for my liking, so I just don't think that he's probably worth it overall, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I would, recommend going with a few different cards over Kent Johnson. And the next card on the list is the reason for that, and it is Maddie. I think that he's a slightly better center than Kent Johnson is, just because he's basically the same speed, but he's a little bit taller with better shooting and slightly better abilities, I would say. Unless you're really good with skilled up, then you can, go for Kent Johnson. But these two, now that Kent Johnson got his face-off upgrade, are very similar. I just think that Maddie with those 2 extra inches of height and the better shot is just slightly ahead. And he can get Distributor too, which would give him, I believe, 93 face-offs also. right? Yeah, 93 faceoffs also. He's perfectly viable, and he's a great card. If you do pack him untradeable, I wouldn't recommend building him necessarily unless you need a center. Otherwise, you know, if you pack him untradeable, he's pretty good. At number 6, we have Connor Bedard. The reason why I put him at number 6 and not any higher, even though he can get 96 acceleration and 95 speed, is simply because he's a little bit small, and personally in my experience playing against him, he hasn't been that good. He has very low body checking, very low strength, and very low balance, which means despite him having unstoppable force, he's still going to get knocked off the puck fairly easily. He is a very good card. I just don't think that he's worth it to mix over some of these other cards. But with that being said, he is certainly the best right-handed forward from this event. And if you do need a right-handed forward at this point in the year, then he's certainly not a bad option. And he's one that I would say, you know, if you wanted to invest some collectibles into him, if you're a Connor Bedard fan or, you know, anything like that, he's definitely, you know, one of the good ones to invest in. And I do think that he is a viable one. And he makes my cutoff for the top 6. It's just I would still leave him out of that top 5 by just a little bit, where the top 5 are just set apart from the other ones. Coming in at number 5, we have Matt Boldie. Okay, so Matt Boldie is quite good. He only has, I believe, actually I do believe he has speed synergies, if I can verify that here. He gets distributor and wingman, which means he gets 93 acceleration and 94 speed. He is a very good card. He is 6'2", 201. He can play, you know, he's got good checking. He can, you know, lay the body. He can't play center though, however, which is a little bit of a letdown. But he does have very good abilities with close quarters and unstoppable force, and a very, very decent shot. And with 96 balance and 96 strength, he's not going to get knocked off the puck very easily, especially with him being 6'2", 201. His agility is a little bit lower than I would have liked for somebody of his, you know, size and stature. But he's still going to play quite well in game, despite him not having lead edges. I just don't think that he makes the top 4 for my list. But he is a very good card, and if you are a Wild fan, like I know a lot of my followers are, he's a great card to go for. And, you know, these boosts that he gets for his hands are quite nice. And he is a good card. He's definitely a good card. He just misses out on my top 4 by just a little bit. Now, my top 4 is completely dependent on positional needs. If you need a left-handed winger, you're going to go with who I'm ranking at number 4 in Juraj Slafkovsky. Now, I am a Habs fan. I could be biased maybe a little bit putting him ahead of Boldie, but I just think with 96 agility, and if you toss all of his good synergies on him, he's a force to be reckoned with on the puck. He can technically play center if you really needed him to. 85 faceoffs is, you know, usable at center at the very least. It's just not great. He does get up to, wait, did they change the synergy slots? He gets up to 93 speed, and he's got 95 balance, 96 agility, a very decent shot. His abilities, although they're not that great, gold close quarters is very, very, very good still in this game. So if you're going to activate gold close quarters on him and play him on your top line, it's totally worth it. He's also 6'3", almost 240 pounds, which means he is not going to get knocked off the puck by very many players, and he's going to be able to lay the body like not a lot of other players can. So I do think that he's a very, you know, viable card to use, and I think that's why I'm ranking him at number 4. But he could be number 1 on this list at any point if you don't need a defenseman. And obviously the top 3 remaining are going to be the defensemen. You got Jake Sanderson, you got Owen Power, and you got Simon Edvinsson. Now these 3 cards, I had a big debate on stream today about which one I think is the best, and I think it really only comes down to what you need on your team. If you need a first line left-handed defenseman, I think now that he got his endurance boost, I think that Simon Edvinsson is the best out of all these cards, and I'm going to rank him at number 1. I'm going to rank Jake Sanderson at number 2, and I'm going to rank Owen Power at number 3. Now, the reason why I'm ranking Owen Power at number 3 is because I don't think there's a need to make him if you're already going to make Simon Edvinsson. I think Simon Edvinsson is a better card than him because he does get, if you max him out, 96 body checking, and 99 strength, which means that he's going to be able to throw the body. He also has 99 agility, which is very underrated. He's going to be able to, you know, do cuts in and out of the zone, and he also got an endurance boost, and now he has 91 endurance with elite edges and stick him up. Even seeing eye is quite good on him. 6'6", 215. He is certainly a card that I would look to go ahead and acquire, and I think that he's my number 1. Where number 2 is going to be Jake Sanderson. Jake Sanderson is going to be better for those who, you know, want to have gold truculence. I personally have Jake Sanderson, and I love him. He is a little bit faster than the other two. He's a little bit, better on the puck than the other two, and he can lay the body just like the other two if you have gold truculence. The only thing about Sanderson that is slightly worse than the other two is his stick length, but even then, he does have a very long stick, and he's very good. So, my final ranking is going to be number 12, Jesper Wallstad. Number 11, Daniela Pechova. Number 10, Brent Clark. Number 9, Sarah Filler. Number 8, Kent Johnson. Number 7, Maddie Beniers. Number 6, Connor Bedard. Number 5, Matt Boldie. Number 4, Juraj Slafkovsky. Number 3, Owen Power. Number 2, Jake Sanderson. Number 1, Simon Edvinsson. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what your rankings are in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy, I would greatly appreciate liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.